Before we get going, please let me say 3 things. Number 1, emulate and color are separate things, and you will see why in just a minute. Number 2, emulate is here to stay and color is here to stay. Nothing is discontinued, everything exists independent of each other. And number 3, me being the face of 2 brands, especially in this small niche, is very confusing, and this is why this video exists. In the future, please try to imagine that I'm wearing a color hat when I'm talking about color, and that I'm wearing an emulate hat when I'm talking about emulate. And lastly, here on my channel, I will talk about everything else. To truly understand what we're talking about, we need to talk about coloring. Coloring consists of color management, color grading, and look development. Color management is the backbone of every workflow. It is concerned with colorimetry, the color space transforms, and it is literally everywhere. Color grading, on the other hand, are primary and secondary adjustments at the clip level to make your individual clips look good under a unifying look. And last but not least, we have look development, which is concerned with the technical and creative image formation. Look development is the highest and most premier discipline of coloring at all. And unfortunately, the whole color grading world still doesn't recognize the difference between color grading and look development, but I, and Max for that matter, and many others, strongly believe that color grading and look development need to be thought of as different things. But we will talk about this in future tutorials on this very channel. Wrapping things up, this is what we're doing with color. We will provide tools for all of these disciplines. You already know a few of our products. On the other hand, we have film emulation. You want to use film emulation if your primary goal is achieving the film look. That means film looks are the literal backbone of film emulation. But to make film looks work successfully, you also have to consider color management and color grading. And I think this is where most of the confusion comes from. Because with traditional film emulation tools, you get pre-built film looks that are customizable to some degree. Most existing film emulations, especially film emulations for Final Cut Pro, completely disregard the notion of color management and color grading. And if you have been following my work for any amount of time, you probably know that I find this absolute bonkers. At its core, Emulate is a film emulation tool, with the main focus being pre-built looks that are highly customizable. But we wanted to take things a little bit further. All of the looks in Emulate are curated, and they actually achieve different looking results. There are no 40 film stocks that kind of look the same. However, I wouldn't be who I am if I just left a big fat hole here. This is why Emulate already comes with everything you need, despite being a film emulation tool first and foremost. For color management, we have Emulate Camera and on-camera monitoring LUTs, so you can see your final image already when shooting. And for color grading, we even have a little plugin to help you out. But remember, color grading is just the thing that makes all of the clips in your timeline work with the look you have chosen or created. That means for color management and color grading, you can use Emulate's tools, but you could also use any other solution. But in the Final Cut Pro world, your options for color management and color grading were pretty limited. This is why we put everything inside Emulate you could need. And when I'm saying you could use other solutions, you don't have to rely on the tools that come with Emulate for color management and color grading. I, of course, mean you can also use color. However, before I show you how to do this, please let me say one more time that Emulate comes with everything you need. You do not need to purchase anything else. If you really want to use the color products, you can, but you don't need to. If you don't want to use color tools, please just stick to the quick start guide from Emulate and you're good to go. You probably remember this timeline from the last video on the color channel where I did the full walkthrough for bases. That means on all of the clips here, I have mixed footage in my timeline. Some of the clips are airy, some of the clips are red. I have the color space transform going from airy lock C into color default. Then basis operates in the color default working color space, and we can do all of our color grading here. And if we wanted to add any adjustments after that, we could add anything after basis if we wanted to. Then at the top here on our adjustment layer, we had our look LUT, which is color cubic Kino going from color default to Rec 709. I set up this entire timeline in a tutorial on the Color YouTube channel. If you don't know how I got here, please watch this video first. It's linked in the video description. On all of the clips in our timeline, we have a color space transform bringing us into color default, and then we already have bases applied. On the adjustment layer, we currently have our LUT, but we can get rid of our LUT and go to the effects browser. Then we can go to Emulate and apply the look development preset. And you can see just after applying Emulate, everything looks pretty decent already. Remember, all of the clips in our timeline spit out color default to this adjustment layer. So why does this already work out? This already works out because EMUL8 uses DaVinci Intermediate as a working color space. And what is DaVinci Intermediate and what is color default? Well, let's take a look at Color's website. We go to Support, Color Space Transform, and the first entry here is what is the color default color space? If we click on that, we can read that color default is an intermediate color space, which is almost identical to DaVinci Intermediate, DaVinci Wide Gamut. If you have tools or LUTs built for DaVinci Intermediate, DaVinci Wide Gamut, you can use them without tools being set to color default. EMUL8's working color space is DaVinci Intermediate. So if we have everything set to color default and we feed that signal into EMUL8, everything works out beautifully already, without any further adjustments. With this knowledge in mind, you could use EMUL8 as you're used to. We can choose a different look, for example, the Fincher look, and then we can come to our clip here, go into Basis, and take full advantage of Basis' powerful toolset. Quick recap, at the clip level, we apply color space transformations from whatever camera color space our cameras are in, to color default. Then we use Basis or any other color tools in color default. And then on the adjustment layer, we just put EMUL8 with no camera selected in the camera dropdown and everything works out. What I should also add is if you're using a color space transform, do not use EMUL8 camera. The color space transform takes care of everything for you. But yeah, that's it. If you want to learn more about Basis and the color space transform, you should watch this video next.